Hello, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Guns and Yellow Ribbons. We need to look at one half, 45 minutes. That's all the game was. We're going to look at West Ham and we're going to look ahead to the Man United game.
Welcome to another podcast by Guns and Yellow Ribbons. This is your Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. Enjoy the show.
Hello, good evening, guys. Trevor, I'm surprised we don't have entourage and security around you. We're looking at Getty Images this morning to get some pictures for the podcast. There was more pictures of. Well, let's have a look. There was more pictures of this than there is of Arsenal, and there's. I'll tell you what for sure. There is more pictures of your gut and your tattoos than there is of Gabby getting punched in the head.
Well, you know what I mean. That's what happens, isn't it? I just wish they would, choose carefully and not put the ones up there where my trousers falling around my knees and my nuts are nearly hanging out. But the missus has told me I've got to wear braces in future, so either that or lose my belly. Yeah, it was what a great day we had at West Ham. Do you know what? I've been saying forever that it's a horrible ground to go and watch football. I genuinely do feel sorry for the West Ham fans having to go there all the time. I don't like the journey there, but I'm never going to moan about it again. After the last two seasons, it's going to be an absolute pleasure to go there, just to fill people in. We're not going to let you down. We've got the FA Cup draw on in the background. As soon as that draw is made and we know who we're playing, we will interrupt and tell you who we've got. Not that you won't be watching anyway. So, yeah. Right, Ferg, I'll shut up now for a minute.
Alex?
Ferg.
I've forgotten what you look like.
Oh, yeah, it's good to be back. It's been a while, hasn't it?
It has. What have you been doing? Where have you been?
Well, I've just been busy with work, and then every time I'm not working, I have to do this project about my internship, which I have to hand in a couple of weeks. So, yeah, just been busy with work and doing the project as well. But yeah, good to have time to be back tonight, especially on the back of a game like the West Ham game. So yeah, glad to be back.
Andrew, got you back again. I think Trevor thought you were okay.
Yeah, you've come back again. Yeah, I'm getting used to this now. It's really good. It's nice to be back on with everyone as well. So good to be. I think last I was just sitting and Dale. So it's good to see you have Trev and good to have Alex on as well.
Yeah,
is my audio okay? You said it's a bit low, is it?
You're just a little bit quiet, Ferg. That's all, mate. Which is quite pleasant, actually. If I'm
it is. It is.
Don't turn it up.
Hey guys, before we move on, we got to look at this. It's the most cutest thing I've ever seen.
not my guts.
No, not your guts. Gabrielle's daughter. Here we go. Oh, hang on.
I know we. I remember is the king of Brazil. He'll give you a
wow at the back.
Oh, at the back stopper. Ole ola, ole ola, ole ola is the king of Brazil.
Oh man, I tell you what, that doesn't have to make me. I go all tingly, and that's absolutely beautiful. And considering the boys on the train back from Burnley started that one, Trev.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, yeah, it took off there, didn't it? And it was it's catchy, isn't it? Everyone sings it, you know. We got some catchy songs at the moment. I'll wake up in the night singing them. It's doing my nutting.
What's the latest one that's been in your head?
Oh, I'm not going there, Ferg. I'm not going there. I'm going to swear. I'll swear.
So just to let you know, we have got the FA Cup draw in the background. We won't show much of it. We'll try and put on what we can when the draw goes through, when the numbers come up, and we'll interrupt the show as and when we need to. Let's have a look at this game. So listen, second place was up for grab. If we had victory at the London Stadium, West Ham had come off like a surprising but convincing win at St James's Park. Not an easy place to go to, a place that we struggled at. Yeah.
Have you read your own notes?
Yeah.
Aren't we talking about Lisbon first?
No, there's nothing on the notes about Lisbon.
You're
and I
looking at the
was
wrong
going to bring
notes.
that up, Alex. I'm not
I
very
agree.
happy
Wrong
with him
notes.
at all. Not very happy with him at all. Nothing on the notes about Lisbon, Alex.
Right, you want to talk about Lisbon? Go on. Off you go.
No, sorry. I've got the wrong notes up. That's my mistake.
He's got nothing notes up.
I've got the ones from
Alex, it up. With Alex, it up.
I've got the ones from the preview show.
He's meant to be the intellectual one amongst us.
God
God help us,
Is
eh?
there?
God
The
help
clever
us.
one, mate.
Hey, but it's a good point. You know, we did talk about the Lisbon show on Friday, the Lisbon game on Friday and the preview show. But it was, what a great performance. Listen, between this game, the Lisbon game, and the Forest game, we scored 13 goals. Trevor, you don't remember none of it, do you?
No, well, I do. Do you know what, Fergus? I'm glad I do remember it, because I was absolutely over the moon with the whole couple of days in Lisbon. The behaviour of the fans, as always, was impeccable. The performance of the team on the field was long overdue, away performance in Europe like that. Long overdue. We have played well previously and not got the rewards that our performance deserved. But we did against Lisbon. And then the fans during the game, the support from our fans in Lisbon, which can be a notoriously hard place to make yourselves heard, was superb. So proud of our fans. I mean, I think it was made easier because they've moved the away section at Lisbon from the previous couple of times we went. We're now all on the same level around one end, which makes it a bit easier for the fans to get together. But, so proud of our team. So proud of it all, team and fans, mate.
Can you remember talking to us the night before the game?
Yes, I can, yeah.
Can you?
Yeah, of course I can.
Alex, you were steaming.
Alex, since you brought it up, then what was in a couple of sentences, your view of the Lisbon game and the performance overall?
Yeah, I think it was just breaking the deadlock away from home in Europe. Obviously, the last time we won away from home in Europe was in Seville, wasn't it? Which is more than a year ago. So I think it was good to finally break the deadlock, and at a very difficult away ground as well. They hadn't lost in 18 months at home. So yeah, obviously a difficult task. We saw how good they were. I mean, now it's everyone can beat Man City now, but they beat Man City 4-1, didn't they? A couple of weeks before, and their form in the league as well has been impressive. So it was a difficult task, and we made it look very easy. And we brought momentum into the West Ham game, didn't we?
We did. Andrew, on finishing up on the Lisbon game, who stood out for you as like the performance at Lisbon?
I'm not going to pick out one of them. I'm going to say that every single member of that team just stood up in there and went out and did what they needed to do. It was I went here thinking, we were talking about 1-0, weren't we? 1-0 to the Arsenal we were talking about. And, I'm sat there sort of watching it with 3-0 up, and I'm thinking, wow. I mean, I'm watching everybody in that way and back jumping around and jealous of not being out there sort of with everybody. But, I mean, the whole team was just fantastic from front to back. And what a night for us, and a great way to line up for the weekend ahead.
And do you know what, Ferg? Just picking up from what Alex said, a really important point is the Sporting Lisbon Football Club and the Sporting Lisbon Football Club fans did not see that coming. They had no idea that was coming. I spoke to some Sporting fans the morning after the game, and they were slightly in shock, but absolutely full of praise for us. And they made the point that one of you guys just made about they beat Manchester City, so they thought that we would come easy. and they got the shock of their lives. And the morning papers, the front, it wasn't on the back pages of the Portuguese morning papers. It was on the front pages. Fallen Angels was one of the headlines. I put it in that little video I've done. It comes as a massive shock to the Portuguese, and it was a superb performance. We shouldn't understate it.
And the manager said he was taught some lessons, didn't he, as well? He said in a conference afterwards, he said, I learned more in that game than I've learned in the last few weeks.
And it was a great interlude into a game, a London derby, not a derby that we looked at with as much. Look, we got loads of derbies coming on. We've got Fulham coming up at the weekend as well, but they're not the sort of derby like with the venom that a North London derby has. But West Ham, nonetheless, prior to their result at St James's Park, I wasn't too worried about it.
Oh my Lord, we've only drawn Tottenham away.
Oh my days!
Not really.
Oh, for God's sake, Trev.
I've got to sit here and go, it's not that much of a delay.
You did that so
well. Listen. Yeah, I'll try to get onto the game. West Ham had beaten Newcastle away. Second prize was up. Second place in the league was up for grabs. We came out all guns blazing in that game, and the first half is really what we're really going to talk about, because there's not much more to talk about as the game was done. 10 minutes in was a really key moment. 10 minutes in, we won our first corner. Saka put an in-swinging delivery, was perfect, right on Gabriel, scores fourth goal of the season, and all his goals have come from headers. Now, the thing I want to talk about this is they seem to be having a conversation that the set piece coach and the stuff that he's doing at the minute is absolutely outstanding. People are talking about it on the radio, on TV. Andrew, let's go to you and talk about this set piece corner.
This for me is like it's all about the movement off the ball from everybody. And you look at from the minute they start talking about what's going on, and they all go to the back post, they're having that chat, and you can see something's coming. But when you go back to where we've been the last few weeks, Gabriel's been stood on the edge of the 18-yard box. He's had 2-3 players on him. But when you look at where we are here and getting ready to go, and Saka's arm in the air, he's about to go. But for me, there's two players that make this run, Gabriel and then Timber. If you watch Timber's run from the back post, and he just takes the eye for everybody, he's just there near the front post now, and then he goes into Paquetá, and he just does enough to nudge him and give Gabriel this time to put that ball into the back of the net. It's so well worked, but that run from Timber just makes that whole goal. It is fantastic when you break it down, and you can see they must have been working on that time and time again. But like we said earlier on, Ferg, that's not something that you just go, I tell you what, boys, let's do this. That is on the training ground. That is relentless, doing that over and over and over again to make it work. And it's such a good goal. Really is.
Sorry. Dan's dinner's gone all over his carpet. He thought he had Spurs away. You're a bastard, Trev.
Alex, do you know what? I'm really happy that Andrew saw that. I watched it back. Sorry, Alex, we'll come to you in a second or two, mate. I do apologise.
But it was a
set-piece move.
Good being back.
But we changed it all around. Didn't we? Gabriel went front post. And you're right. And when I saw it back with the Timber nudge, I honestly thought, Andrew, we're okay. We got away with this one. But if that had been given as a free kick, because it was more of a nudge, it was a little bit of a push in the back, we couldn't have really argued, could we, if it was given as a free kick, mate, that?
I don't know. He's rolled him really well, hasn't he? I mean, he's kind of gone in with his hip. He's rolled him back. So he's like, it's just
carry on. Just carry on.
It was just he's rolled him really well, and I think where he's caught him is sort of like in midair, and Paquetá realizes that he's done, and he just throws his arms up for me to sort of try and win that foul. But no, it's such a good delivery from Saka as well. I mean, pinpoint cross right on Gabriel's head, and there's no way he's missing that. And you look at what is now, is it 17? He scored 17 Premier League goals, and most defenders since his debut in the competition in 2020. And I saw it here, and his highest percentage of any player in the Premier League history, 59%. It's great.
I've got an update. Dublin's just playing with his balls. So,
Alex, what was your thoughts on that? Like, the set pieces that were working. We had double figures in the first half in those corners, and you could see the communication, the talk. It was almost like watching an American football or a rugby line out, in the sense that at one point it was like 6-6-6-6. There was an instruction.
We're at home.
No, we are
at home too. We're at home too.
Here we go.
We're at home too. Manchester United. Oh my Lord!
No way!
Wow!
United. Oh my good golly!
Arsenal,
Classic.
Man U, brilliant.
Classic FA Cup.
Unbelievable.
Right. Okay.
My family for another few months now.
Poor Donna.
Sorry, who did I cut off then? I won't cut you off anymore, I promise.
Yeah, no, that's done.
You say that every time.
It's going to be a great tie, but I'm gutted. I wanted an away fixture. I really wanted an away fixture.
Yeah.
Anyway, Alex, we were talking about, like, it feels like American football, a rugby line out. There's like instructions coming out of numbers and things well worked. So what's your thoughts on how these set pieces are working? The set piece coach, the players run to him and celebrate with him. He's an integral part of the squad.
Yeah, and he wins games for us. They've been so important this season and last season as well. And I can see what you mean about the American sports, like, because I thought about the NBA when I saw it as well. The way they set screenings, and every individual player knows how to set them as well. I think it was Calafiori who screened off Antonio, who was marking Gabriel, so he completely lost him because of the screening from Calafiori. And yeah, I mean, it happened again later in the half, where he almost had a free header if it wasn't for Fabianski, who completely knocked him out. And yeah, we just keep reinventing ourselves with these set pieces. It's like, then the media say, "Oh, we found out what they do now," and then we just do something different in the next game. So, yeah, he's very good, isn't he? Our set piece coach.
That's interesting that what Alex said there. The media said they found out what we did. Newcastle found out what we did, and we changed it up again, didn't we, Trev?
Yeah, he's obviously got loads of moves in his head, and they're going to keep changing it all season. I'm excited about it. I'm just watching the draw. I'm sorry, I've got half an eye on the draw.
I've turned it off.
But yeah, Aston Villa have drawn West Ham, and I think just to make that a fun tie, they should make them. That'd be good. Yeah, but no. Yeah, I was very impressed with the way we changed it round to get the same result. And as Alex just said, then there's I'm sure he's got loads more moves up his sleeve for the rest of this season. I'm excited by our set piece moves. I'm excited at the fact that we're actually winning games because we're good at set piece moves along with other stuff. So yeah, long may it last. Long may it last.
Alex, after that goal, we kept the pressure up. There was attempts for Saka and Timber and others. It was just relentless. And then that was after the 10th minute, 27 minutes in, it's 2-0. Odegaard lifts the ball into the path of Saka. Saka puts a ball across that Havertz just didn't get his toe to, but Trossard was right behind him. That just looked such a fluid move. Talk me through what you thought about that.
Yeah, I mean, it was very similar to the one we scored against Lisbon, wasn't it? Where it was Partey lifting the ball over their defense. But for me, it's just, I think Odegaard has changed the way we play, especially off the ball, and the way players make runs. It's almost like they've got so much more freedom now to make runs. I think when Odegaard wasn't in the team, it felt like everyone had to do something on the ball, and it was like they didn't have the freedom off the ball to make runs. And the way Havertz and Trossard have been moving off the ball, and Martinelli as well in the Lisbon game, it's just like he's freed them up, Odegaard, ever since he's come back into the team. So yeah, and he showed his class and the connection between him and Saka on the right hand side. I mean, and if they put five players out on the right hand side, on our right hand side, it just frees up space in the center or in the left hand side, and we just used it. So yeah, I mean, it was just a brilliant goal and very satisfying goal to score. And yeah, Odegaard, he's just phenomenal.
Following on from that, 34 minutes in, Paqueta brought Saka down. It went 3-0. A penalty that was easily read by Saka, and you would have thought Paqueta would have been more intelligent. You could see he was being led into it. I'm not saying Saka went down easily, but Saka was tackled fairly. He fairly was adjudged to have a penalty. Sorry, go on.
It was, for me, it was what I would call a lazy tackle. You know, if you're going to go into the area at that point and you've got Saka coming towards you, you don't dangle your leg out and let him run into it, because that's what he's going to go down every time. You know, you've got to stand him up and take him. You know, either drop and just to take him towards the touchline, or he's going to come back in. You've got a minute, block down his space, and dangle a leg out, because he's, if he catches you, he's going to go. And for me, it was just a stonewall penalty, and you could see the players arguing about it, and there was no argument in that. It's all day long.
And there was no real argument, or there's a discussion about the penalty taker. The penalty taker was Martin Odegaard, but who stepped up first of all was Saka. Were you glad to see Odegaard get his first goal, Trevor?
Yeah, firstly, I disagree a little bit with the boys. I didn't think it was a stonewall penalty. I think it was the type of penalty that's given in the modern game, but it was more won by Saka than clumsy by the defender, I thought. As for Odegaard stepping up with a ball, I thought he was going to give it to Saka, but Saka stepping up with a ball. I've seen the interview afterwards where Saka said Odegaard needed a goal, so I gave him the ball. I didn't mind. What a superb attitude from a young man who's got a lot to make from scoring every goal he possibly can. You know, there's lots involved with scoring goals these days, apart from them winning games. And he still gave that ball to Odegaard. I thought it was an absolutely superb thing for Saka to do. And Odegaard slotted it away very nicely. Then and there was two things. Well, there was three things in the game that the referee done to annoy me. One we're going to talk about shortly, I know. But secondly, he stopped our players doing things on the field that are totally illegal. He made our player that was holding the ball give it to the penalty taker earlier than he needed to. And we're quite entitled to stand there until we're ready to take the penalty. And also, when they stood right in front of the goalkeeper at a free kick, right? Jorginho. And the goalkeeper went to him. Who was it, Andrew? Was it
Jorginho?
Yeah. The referee went to him and said, "Get back! You're not standing there. Get back." Well, where is it against the laws? You show me in the laws where he's not allowed to do that. He's absolutely allowed to do that.
That came from the women's game, wasn't it? There was a game, I think it was Arsenal women versus Man United. There was something similar done, and that went across social media and the press saying it was like unsporting, and that's where that I think he said, like, yes, it's not wrong, but behave.
Yeah, well, if it's not wrong, the referee shouldn't be getting involved. You know what I mean? They don't get involved in enough stuff that they should, and then something like that where they shouldn't be getting involved. All the referee's got to do in that situation is make a judgment on whether Jorginho is offside. That's it.
Great.
That's his job. And it done me nothing. And as for the one we're going to talk about in a bit, well, we'll go there when we get there, I suppose.
Before we get to that goal, 2 minutes later, it's 90 seconds actually, it was a great pass by Trossard. Trossard had a great first half. It was a beautiful, deep from in his own half to Havertz, who ran probably a good third of the pitch, probably half the pitch, and made an absolutely perfect finish. I saw a stat. I can't remember exactly what it was. I think it was in half the number of games he scored and assisted in more goals than he did in his whole career in Chelsea. The guy is loving it at Arsenal, and what a good pass by Trossard. Alex, talk to us about Trossard and Havertz and how they paired up for that one.
Yeah, I think Max Kilman had a poor game for West Ham, but that doesn't take anything away from what a good goal we scored. I think it was Odegaard who broke the play from West Ham and found Trossard, and he immediately pinged it over the top. And it was perfectly weighted, the ball for Havertz. Kilman just stretched out for it and didn't get the ball, and then Havertz was through on goal. And yeah, his finishing is improving game by game. I don't think he would have scored that in the first 6 months he was at our club, but the confidence he plays with now, he just easily rolls it past the keeper, easy finish. And it's just what we need from our striker, finishing his chances. And yeah, I saw the stat you mentioned as well. He's got the same goals and assists in half the number of games for Arsenal compared to his time at Chelsea. And yeah, it just confirms what we've seen over the last 1.5 years. He's been a brilliant player. And yeah, the numbers are showing for it.
Trevor, at that moment, row 1 right back to row 65 in that dreadful stadium and big divide went, who put the ball in the West Ham net? Who put the ball in the West Ham net?
I think we went a bit soon, to be honest.
We did a little.
Because the next 10 minutes weren't very enjoyable, but yeah. It was.
Yeah, how was that? Because, it really got going and then it became a little bit awkward, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Well, I think we went a bit too soon. We were 4-0 up, and then they get that goal. And I thought that if I'm honest, I thought that our defence was a little bit at fault for that goal. Yeah, it was a good through ball, but we had an opportunity to cut it out, and the defence let it run through to him.
Let's elaborate a bit more on that, because we had a conversation before we come on and you went, oh, don't start having a go. But for me, in the defence and that left side, listen, I think 99% of the time our players had a fantastic game, especially in that first half. But for that moment, Calafiori and Trossard and possibly Gabriel, which you said to me when we met after the game, could have been a little bit at fault for being, I don't know, a little bit not blasé, lackadaisical.
I've not watched that part of the game back. I've only watched our goals and the build up to them. But looking, we were right behind that goal. I didn't see anything wrong with Calafiori and Trossard. I thought that Calafiori had a bit of a quiet half. I thought that Trossard had a brilliant half. I thought he fitted in rather nicely. But it just looked to me, maybe in the angle I was at, just looked like Gabriel could have stuck a foot out and stopped it. But maybe he was letting it run past, thinking it was going out, So yeah, I mean, I'm not blaming anybody. These things happen, but it was horrible to see him score. But then we're thinking, all right, we'll get to half-time.
Yeah, no. But before we go on, Andrew, we watched on TV, and Alex, just on that one before we go into the second goal, which again is a talking point. But the first goal that West Ham got against us, Wan-Bissaka, who beat Raya at his near post, it was a good cutting pass by to Wan-Bissaka. But did you feel that there was any issue, like what I saw, where I thought Trossard and Calafiori could have done slightly better, and maybe Gabriel, as Trevor said?
I think Trossard's got a trait. He's got to mark the run. You see that when you see on the replay, he's very square and he hasn't checked his shoulder. Wan-Bissaka's just come round him, and so he's completely blindsided him. He's not seen him. At 4-0 up though, like Trev said before, you're 4-0. We're flying. We're a bit like a bit laxy daisies where we are, and they've just caught his napping. But even at that point, if the commentator, one of the standards, said, "Oh, this is going to be a Newcastle all over again," and it's like, hang on a minute, they've not had a chance on goal, and they've just put one away because we fell asleep a little bit. But you can't knock them. They played a phenomenal game. Trossard was awesome, but that just shows you in this league, you've just got to be switched on for the whole 90 minutes, or you'll get caught.
Alex, Soller's pass, it cut the lines, didn't it? It broke the lines really well.
Yeah, I mean, you can't fault the pass. It was a brilliant pass, but I mean, Trev said these things happen, and they do, but we can't allow them to happen if we want to catch up to Liverpool at the moment. I mean, we won this game convincingly, and we reacted really well after their second goal, but I think going forward, we have to be more ruthless defensively as well. And we just can't afford to make any mistakes if we want to claw back the points that Liverpool have got on us at the moment. We really need to be kind of perfect for the rest of the season. And I think we're getting there offensively now with Odegaard back. It's just defensively we have to, stay more concentrated throughout the whole 90 minutes. Otherwise, we'll get punished.
Alex, listen. Don't worry about what the other team. Don't worry about Liverpool, mate. We win our games, Liverpool will come back to us. I'm positive on that.
I hope so. Yeah.
Go Definitely. On. Sorry, Ferg.
Trevor, defensively, we need to be more mindful and more aware, and so on, as what Alex has just said. 4-2, Declan Rice made a tackle. Tackle was deemed bad enough to have a yellow card and also give a free kick. Emerson took an amazingly good free kick and it brought it back to 4-2. Squeaky bum time. Maybe then we're thinking Newcastle all over again. But did you think it was a free kick and a yellow card in the first place?
No, not at all. Not at all. It happened right in front of me. It happened right in front of where I was. And you could clearly see that Declan stuck a leg out and he didn't get, sometimes they say, oh, he got a touch on the ball, don't they? But he didn't get a touch on the ball. It was a proper kick of the ball away. It was an excellent tackle. And I thought that the referee just fought for a couple of seconds before he give it. And in my head, I'm thinking, he's thought to himself, I can get away with giving him a free kick here. I'm going to give it, you know. It was never in a million years a free kick. And even more so, it wasn't a booking. And what you got to remember is the booking is really important because it means that Rice has got to go through the rest of the game at 90%, right? Because Rice is conscious that he's got the booking. Rice is conscious that he's been sent off before when he shouldn't have been sent off. So in that player's head, in young Declan Rice's head, he's now thinking all of those things are going around his head. So as well as trying to play a game of football at his old club, West Ham, you know, in front of fans that are half and half, can be good to him, but can really pick on him, he's also now got in his head, I've got a yellow. I've got to be careful. I've got a red when we were away, when we played. Where did he get his red? I can't
remember. Brighton, second yellow, yeah.
I've got a red at Brighton when I clearly didn't deserve a red at Brighton. I can't afford to do this now. So it completely ruins Declan Rice's game for the rest of the match for me, you know. And I think Rice managed it superbly after that. But it should never have been a booking. Never in a million years should it have been a booking. And the consequences outside that booking, people don't think about sometimes. But it was a massive moment in the game when we'd just gone 4-1 down for them to now get a free kick in that area.
Well, I was going to say to you, how was it the feeling? I want to ask the guys about what they thought on the actual free kick and the card as well in a second. But since you were in the stadium, when that goal and that free kick, which was a screamer and a really good free kick, how was the feeling among you guys in the away end?
Well, my thought was it was a fantastic goal. One or two people thought that Raya was a bit out of position for the free kick. I'm not having that. You don't save free kicks like that. So, no, you have to hold your hands up and say it was a brilliant goal, a brilliant free kick, but it should never have been a free kick in the first place. You know, that's all you can say.
Alex, your view on the free kick. Did you think it was a free kick? Declan Rice did get the ball. The replays show he got the ball. Did he get too much of the man?
I mean, he did get a bit of the man, but I don't think it should have been a foul, and especially not a yellow card. So, yeah, I don't really agree with the ref's decision. I think it was very harsh, and I agree with Trev as well. It really impacted his game afterwards, and I can see how it must have been difficult for him to react to that and play out the rest of the game with that Brighton game in the back of his mind. So, yeah, it's a big punishment for defensive players playing most of the game with the yellow card, but I think he handled it really, really well and showed maturity. But yeah, I mean, the free kick itself, we can talk about how it maybe wasn't a free kick, but the goal itself was crazy, wasn't it? Such a good strike from Emerson, and he nearly did the same minutes after or just before the half. He's got a good strike on him, and yeah, not much Raya could have done there. It took the crossbar, hit the crossbar before it went in, didn't it? So
it did.
Yeah, just good goal.
And Andrew, before we go into the fifth goal in this half, looking at that free kick, it was a very similar occasion in the second half on Havertz. And there was no consequence. There was no yellow card. There was no free kick. No nothing. So it's just the inconsistency with referees, isn't it?
But we're getting used to that now, aren't we? We're getting used to that sort of happening with us, from time to time again. All we have to do is go back to how many times players kick the ball away against us and nothing happens, and go back to the Brighton game where Declan Rice nudged the ball. It didn't even roll a few centimetres and he gets a second yellow and gets sent off. So, we are coming to the inconsistencies, and, we've talked about it on the group chat many a time when we've come out and something's happened that, it always seems to go again. It goes against us, and those things do. It is really infuriating because as soon as it was like, that's a free kick. And it was in the second half on Havertz. It was like, he's not giving it. I can't believe he's not giving it. It's off. It's but yeah, we just need that consistency back from referees all day.
Yeah, listen, after 4 minutes of 4 goals in 6 minutes, the momentum was definitely with West Ham at that point. We were probably just hoping for half time. 5 added minutes and another corner from Saka caused problems for West Ham. Fabianski come out for a ball and he made contact. He didn't make contact with the ball. He missed the ball, went past the ball. And I think this is a great image of it. And he makes contact with Gabriel. Who of us four think that was a bit harsh on Gabriel? Trevor, do you think this was a bit harsh on Fabianski? Do you think this was a bit harsh on him?
No, looking at it back, I don't think these penalties are given often enough. He's not meant to punch Gabriel in the head, but he has actually punched him in the head.
Yes.
It was weird in the stadium because Gabriel went down and all the players are milling round, and it was a few seconds before we realised he'd given a penalty. We just thought he'd blown the whistle for a head injury to Gabriel,
Which is what he did do. He did take a long time.
Yeah. Oh, right. And then we saw him point and everyone thought, wow, it's a penalty. But what I will add to this, Ferg, we're going to talk about the goal, I know, but scoring this penalty was the most important, pivotal part of the game, right? Because they've just come back to 4-2. If we go in at halftime 4-2, West Ham go in absolutely buzzing on a high. They come out the second half flying. And that fifth goal coming as it did at that time was pivotal. It shut the game down, basically. It meant we could shut the game down second half and just ride it out. And that's exactly what we did.
Guys, there's mixed in. I'm jumped into the comments for a second, Trev. So the last 3 comments, and then you got Simon, who said it was a very soft penalty. He wouldn't be happy if it was given against us. Arnie comes along, says it's definitely a penalty. And then a new commenter is Dawood. Similar contact was made in the intermatch. That was
Marino, wasn't it?
Wasn't that when Havertz got his head split wide open, and that should have been a penalty. So, guys, what's your thoughts on it? Alex, I'll go to you first. Your thoughts: should it have been a penalty? Was it soft?
In my opinion, it's 100% a penalty. I think, like Trev said, they aren't given often enough. I think sometimes keepers can be too protected in that sense, where they are just allowed to go out and go, and sometimes they get the man. And I think when they don't get the ball, they should get punished. So, I mean, I think it's fair to give a penalty. I don't see how it's not a penalty. If it was any other play on the field where they just completely take out the man and not get the ball, it would be a penalty. So I don't think it should be any different for the goalkeepers. If you go for the ball and you get the man instead of the ball, should be punished.
Andrew, a penalty and a yellow card?
The yellow card's probably harsh, but it's a penalty. I completely agree with Alex. Keepers are so well protected in today's game that it's got to come back the other way. If you're going to go up and you're not going to make contact with the ball but punch someone in the head, it's a penalty. It's done. But I think the yellow card was a bit harsh, but I completely agree with the comment there. It was soft. Would it have been happy if it was against us? Nah. But do you know what? We'll have it and we'll take it because, again, we go back to how many times is that going to happen the other way around and we don't get it. So that's we'll have that, and it was well put away as well.
Do you know what? Simon's right though, isn't he? If it had been given against us, that penalty, it'd be like, oh, come on.
Yeah. Could you imagine Raya or Ramsdale previously, which they are good at punching, come out and do it? We'd be absolutely fuming. There we go. Second half is coming up. Show's over. Thank you very much. You've been watching Guns and Yellow Ribbons. It's been a great. We'll see you on Friday. He was a bit like that. What's that?
Didn't we play that second half out well, eh?
What
No,
you know what that
stupidity. Saved all our good players, got subs on, saved our players that are getting at risk of injury or coming back from injury, got them all off the field, put the B team on and rode it out. Couldn't wish for any better, Ferg. What was you saying, mate?
the notes I put down here, much quieter affair, more about managing the players and managing minutes. Gabby was taken off. Funnily enough, it was for his previous injury. He maybe had picked up, not the punch in the head he had at halftime. So he's not a concussion sub. One, we're not giving another sub to West Ham. And two, he doesn't have to be rested for 2 weeks. Not that I'm a cynic. We also then took Calafiori off for Zinni, Odegaard and Saka off for Jesus and Sterling, Trossard on the 85th minute for Nwaneri. How do we think those subs performed? As you said, the B team, the backup, the depth in our squad. For me personally, I felt it showed, with the exception of maybe Nwaneri, because he's growing into it. I thought Zinni didn't play bad, but the Kivior, Zinni, Jesus, and Sterling, for sure, look like the worry I have with the depth of our squad. We've got a great starting 11, and we could win every game with that starting 11. But when we have to go dig deeper and scrape deeper, Alex, into the deeper thing, we struggled when we lost Odegaard. It's that cover, and we've got a huge December coming up, and then we've got the FA Cup, as we know, and so on. It's not going to get easy.
No, I think we're gonna have to use some of the more fringe players, and that's why it was good to see likes of Jesus, Sterling, Zinchenko, as you said, Kivior getting some game time. I think we found out that we can't really replace Odegaard. He just fundamentally changes the way we play. But yeah, I think players like Sterling, Jesus, they could be important for us. I actually think Zinchenko played quite well when he came on. He's just so good on the ball, and it looks easy when he plays well. The problem is he can have these lapses of concentration, and defensively he struggles sometimes. But when he's on the ball, he's very, very good, and he. Yeah.
But yeah, Alex, you said you want to make a comment on the halftime sub, and then I know Andrew wanted to talk.
You kind of went over it, but I was just to ask a question. Did you think they consciously didn't use the concussion sub so that he could play against Manchester United?
100%.
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah,
because what they can do with him now, if he has got concussion, they can pull him out at the last minute. But if they said he got concussion after that,
he's out for 2
he's
weeks.
Definitely out for 2 weeks.
After the game, when the players come up to the fans, which I'm over the moon about, they need to get close to the fans after the game regularly. It's much appreciated by the fans. After the game, Gabriel was limping a bit when he was walking around the pitch. Right, he had sliders on and he was limping. But whether the coach has said to him that I don't want him to think it's a concussion sub, so limp a bit, or whether he thinks Saka limping all the time is quite a trendy thing to do, I don't know. But he was definitely limping when he come past us, Ferg.
We know he's capable of doing stuff like that at Teta, isn't he? He's willing to do all sorts of stuff to trick the media and trick the oppositions.
Dark arts.
Well, exactly. Dark arts again. Dark arts again. Any final thoughts on our second half, please, Andrew, before we talk about our upcoming games?
Yeah, it was really interesting when I was looking through, and I didn't actually notice it when I was watching it back. But when I read this stat and I went back and saw it, we actually did change formation in the second half. So we diverted from a 4-2-3-1 into a 4-3-3. It's really, when you look at kind of where we were, and the way that we controlled that game, because that team took a hard time. Must have been, don't go and concede anything. You get a chance, put it away, but let's just keep it clean and let's get out of here unscathed. And
I'll tell you what
was really interesting.
It was lucky we changed our formation because Zinchenko spent most of the second half on the right wing. We got away with it. As a matter of fact, it was quite effective. But you can't move on from this game. I've got 2 or 3 little things I want to say. Really,
you do that while I do my tradition.
All right then.
Oh, here he goes.
Right. Firstly, right. I felt really guilty when I looked at the game back the following day because I hadn't mentioned Jorginho, and I thought he's not played much this season, but I thought
we haven't mentioned him at all today.
I thought he was absolutely superb. I thought he had an absolute blinder coming into that side.
But I thought he was last week though. When he got booked, he got taken off at half time. I thought first half he was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, he was absolutely superb. And then the other thing, we've spoken about Havertz, but I just love the way that Havertz is now coming into his own. As you said earlier, Alex, I really think it's a confidence thing with Havertz. After the torrid time he had with Chelsea, he may have been thinking, will my life ever turn around? And every week I see him do something a little different, Havertz, and it's an improvement to the way he plays. When you look at all of our forward players, they're all of the same ilk apart from Havertz. Havertz is becoming more and more important week by week because he puts a completely different dimension into the way our great club plays football, and he's very, very important.
Do you not think that Odegaard, though, the Havertz got pulled back into midfield and got too deep? And that's why we struggled to score.
That's kind of what I was trying to say before. It felt like some of the other players, like Havertz, was trying to make things happen on the ball before Odegaard. Now Odegaard's in the team. He's got the freedom to roam, the freedom to attack off the ball. And we saw that against Lisbon, and we saw it against West Ham as well. So, yeah, he's just hugely important for the way we play.
Yeah, absolutely, Alex. Absolutely. I can't praise the man enough. And finally, from me, right, Saka. Again, Saka's coming back to his best, He's getting better every week. And I think Havertz is a massive help to moving defenders around. They can't concentrate so much on Saka. And he does limp. He limps from minute 1 to minute 90. But all I can say is carry on limping, Saka. Carry on limping, my son, because you can do as you please if you keep playing like you are. Brilliant.
It was quite funny. We were talking earlier, Trev, and you said that there was a clip. Somebody clipped up something that DT. Not that we're into discounting other media outlets, but DT is not a fan of, not liked by many Arsenal fans. But it's just the fact that he came along and he was coming along, and when Saka made his debut, he said he was. I'll leave it over to you, Trev, because you can give the actual context. With that, we're not going to slag the guy off. But
different to you, I don't like naming other people on here. I know people do it to us, but I'm above naming, especially names like that. I just don't name the names. So all I'll say is I was looking at social media today, and they had a video of a bloke that claims to be Arsenal mad fan, and he was really ripping into Saka from when Saka was a youngster, a prospect, saying that he was no better than anyone else, he was overrated, blah blah. Listen, so it just goes to show, doesn't it? Be careful what you say, because it can seriously come back and bite you on the backside. So yeah,
can't adjust.
Move on,
because in terms of contributions this season, he's statistically the most creative player in the Premier League. So how can he be rubbish?
Yeah,
he's first in created chances, first in assists, second in goals and assists, and he's 100 touches in the opposition box, and he's second. So not bad for someone that wasn't going to make it. If that was his opinion.
It's a nice way to finish off a week when we had 3 wins, scored 13 goals, and a great way to head into a very, very busy September, be it Champions League, League Cup, the league. We play Wednesday, Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday. It is relentless. And that use of the squad that we saw in the second half against West Ham is going to be huge. And now we also know that once we get over the New Year and Christmas, we've got Man United in the FA Cup 3rd round. So we don't have an easy game then either, because that Amarin is going to want to push on and try and win something, because that's going to be a significant game that we've got in the first week or so of January. So that's going to put even more pressure on us. But we've got Man United Wednesday. They won 4-0 against your second beloved Everton.
Easy.
I'm only joking. I knew you'd buy it. It's like fishing in a barrel. Look, you got a bit of a soft spot. You got a bit of a soft spot for Everton, but Everton were pretty poor. Man United, but they did get a bit of a spark. They got a bit of a spark out of Rashford. There's 7 games undefeated. Van Nistelrooy had 4 games with him. He got 3 wins and a draw. Amorim in all competitions had 2 wins and a draw. Trevor, where are you on this game?
Look, right. There's no getting away from the fact that Van Nistelrooy and this new bloke have lifted Man United, lifted their players, and they're playing better football and they're getting results. But you can only lift players to the best of their ability, right? And I don't think Man United players at the best of their ability still are not a match for an Arsenal team at the best of its ability. They're not up there yet. They might get there, but they're not at that level yet. And I can't see anything other than a comfortable win for the Arsenal on Wednesday. I really can't. I've been thinking about it quite a bit today because, as you know, all my family in-laws are Man United fans. So I think about the game when it's coming up. And I've all day I've not been able to make a case for Man U getting anything out of this game. And I don't think they will.
I spoke with my brother, one of my 2 brothers that were meeting on Wednesday. And they said, seriously, Arsenal should win this game, but Man United will be well up for it. On paper, Arsenal are the better team. Man United are without what's his name, Kobe Mainoo and Martinez. I think that's the right Martinez rather than Martinez. I don't know which, I never know how to pronounce Martinez nowadays.
Pronunciation is not your greatest point, is it, mate?
Yeah. They'll be suspended for the games on Wednesday night. Andrew, I'll come to you first. Where's your expectations, and how big of a loss is Kobe Mainoo and Martinez? Martinez, I believe, is a defender. Kobe Mainoo is midfielder. What attacking? Mainoo.
I think we spoke earlier, didn't we? And I think the battle's going to be in midfield. I think it's going to be, Fernandes, Rice, Odegaard, whoever else they've got in midfield. I don't pay that much attention to them, so I can't remember who they've got in midfield now. But it was, I think. I spoke to a couple of work today, and spoke to a Man U fan, and they come and they went, "Oh, you said we were awesome. We played really well. We're going to give you boys a right good game on Wednesday night." I'm like, "Hang on a minute. There's not a chance." I said, "You've just gone and beat Everton 4-0. Let's be honest. A poor Everton side, you've beat 4-0, and you've now thinking you're going to go and finish and go and win the league, or you're going to finish in the Champions League spots after one game. It's like it's not happening. It's to get your ass down to the Emirates on Wednesday night, and let's put you against the proper team and see what happens. I think we'll win this. I agree with us in the comment. I think we'll do this 3-1.
Okay, Alex, a poor Everton side. That's who they've got it against. I think West Ham made us look better than we. I think we're a great team, but I think West Ham flattered us as well.
That's crap.
How worried are you about this fixture? It's a big fixture. Always is.
It's a massive fixture, but we've got the better of them the last many times they've come to the Emirates in the Premier League, and I think we will again on Wednesday. They've had a couple of good results with their new manager. I mean, they drew against Ipswich. They scraped the win against Bodo, didn't they? Now it's going to be the real test for him, the first real test for the new manager Amorim. And they're going to be without Mainoo in the midfield, and they're going to be without Martinez in the defense. I think
Mainoo, by the way.
I think the loss of Mainoo is big for them because he gives them that dynamism in the midfield. Casemiro, he's an old fella. He can't run. So they might put in Eriksen. He's an old fella as well. So I think, like Andrew said, I think midfield is going to be key, but I think we're going to dominate them in the midfield. I think it's going to be really difficult for them, very tough. They're probably going to sit back and rely on the counter-attack with Rashford. But I just can't see any other outcome than us probably smashing them. We're in such good form at the moment. And I think we're going to continue our attacking form. We might have a defensive slip-up, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I think we're going to score at least 3 goals. I'm very confident.
Rashford. Who's going to mark Rashford?
So Andrew went 3-1. What are you going?
I'll go 3-0.
And Alex talked about. Sorry, Andrew, I didn't know what you said about Rashford,
That's
but Alex talked about old men and everything else. So, us two old men, what do we think about this game?
Oh, ancient.
Ancient. Oh Christ! Good job you're in Copenhagen. That's all I can say.
Look, right.
Room's cancelled.
I honestly think that the Arsenal, Gabriel Saliba might be a bit disappointed that Martinez is injured. Because let's face it, Martinez is a good player, but all he does is kick people, growl at people with a silly attitude, and walk around like he's a carpet carrier. You know,
The butcher.
He's 5'6" of nothing. And at set pieces, Gabriel and Saliba would have been licking their lips at the prospect of coming up against him. Trust me. So I'm a bit disappointed Martinez is out. Mainu, I've not seen enough to comment. I know he's a classy young player, plays for England, so it ain't going to be a bad thing that he's out. And then we mentioned the midfields, and I just think it will come down to whether the biggest cheater that plays the game of football in the Premier League at the moment, in Fernandes, manages to cheat his way to a penalty. That might be the only way they'll score a goal. The bloke,
possibly the
worst bloke in the game is about cheating now, right? But beyond cheating, there's Fernandes, right? Is a disgrace to football, especially as he's the biggest cheat in the world. And the first thing he does if someone falls over in front of him is wave an imaginary card to the ref to try and get him booked. You know, play the game, Fernandes, but play it your way, all the way or none of the way. I hate the little shit. I do.
And he's a captain. He's a captain. Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
So what do you go for?
I'm going to go 3-1 as well.
I think that we're going to win 4-0.
Yes, Trev. Love it.
Lots of goals.
But Trevor, you will be in the local pub from 4, so you're going to see double score, aren't you?
I'm going to be a little bit possibly under the influence by the time I get into the Emirates.
There's going to be flashbacks of Saturday night he's going to have his belly out again in the middle of the concourse.
I don't know whether that'll happen or not because
if he doesn't come out, I'm in trouble.
When I did it at West Ham, we were 4-0 up when we were soon at 4-2, so I didn't do it again. But yeah, I mean, this is always going to be a big game against Man United, right? Because of the history, right?
Yeah.
You go back to the late 90s and the early 2000s, whatever team you supported in the country, right? You didn't miss Man United v Arsenal. Because it was always more than just a game of football. There was always an undercurrent. Wenger getting sent off and sitting in the stands. You know what I mean? Keown jumping all over Van Nistelrooy or throwing pizza at Fergie in the tunnel. You know, there's or Roy Keane and Vieira going at it. There was
or Wenger up in the stands like that.
Yeah, when he got sent off. Yeah,
something to it. You know, and there still is for me. There still is. It may not be like it used to be, but it's still the biggest game of the season for me, Arsenal, Man United. And do you know what, Feg? When you talk about Wenger up in the stands like that, if you look at the Man United fans that are around him, they're actually smiling and clapping him for what he's doing. Because, you know, that's how it is at Man U. There's nowhere to go if he gets sent off, is there? You know?
Nope.
So, yeah, brilliant. Can't wait till Wednesday night. It's the biggest game of the season for me as an Arsenal fan. It's bigger than Tottenham by a mile. And we're going to win. We're going to win comfortably.
For me, it's a huge game. Just like for family and everything else. My two brothers are Man United fans. We're meeting up for Christmas beers, and they're seeing the football, and we're seeing the football. So yeah, it's just like, you know, I'm on a WhatsApp group with my nephew over in America. He's a Man United fan. The other one, Connor, who you've met before, he joins the chat. He's an Arsenal fan. So it's always it's a very Irish thing to be either Liverpool, Man United, Arsenal. There's a few other teams, Leeds, Everton, and so on. So, but it's huge.
I'm going to be watching it with your nephew Connor.
Oh, you're going to watch it with Connor, are you?
I am, yeah. So that's going to be great.
So when we win 3-1, which is my prediction, you need to get Cahill on FaceTime and just give him loads of shit from me. Yeah,
I will, and I think it's one of his final days in Copenhagen. So we're
actually. Cahill and Austin and my brother Niall, they're all in Copenhagen right now. So there's all four of them over there. Yeah.
They're probably going to be joining us.
They'll be drinking these long beers with a bubble at the bottom.
Yeah, beer towers.
Yeah, they've been drinking them.
Yeah.
Mate, the photos that have been coming through is unreal. So yeah, he is
great.
moving back to America. Yeah, but
yeah.
So you might meet my eldest brother as well when you're over there. So that should be really good.
That'll be good fun. Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. Guys, we will be back Thursday or Friday. I don't know. Ideally for me, Thursday, Trev, but we'll talk about it. But Thursday or Friday, we'll do the preview show. We will post our predictions for this week, the midweek games on Twitter. So everyone's got them open and declared. So we can't say we change our votes. It's been really good, Andrew. Thanks again. 4 in a row. 4 in a row. 4 in a row again.
4 in a row. Ole, ole. Yeah, I like that.
Alex, don't be missing for so long.
Oh, I'll try to be back for next week again.
Make sure you read the right notes before you come on.
And I'll read the right notes so I won't make a tit out of myself.
That is hilarious. Listen, just before you press the button, Ferg, I've just got one thing to say. I've been chatting with, if you're on social media a lot, you'll know the lad Frimpon that does the interviews.
Oh, hang on. This is going to be all Trevor.
No, he does the interviews at the training ground, and he interviews the players, and he goes to the games and does the publicity shots and that. And he's a brilliant lad. He's got the best job in the world, Frimpon. I want his job. I told him that when I saw him Saturday. I want your job, Frimpon. But I'm just giving him a bit of a plug, really. If you look on social media, if you want to get a little bit more in depth about the Arsenal behind the scenes with someone who's just one of us, give him a follow on social media. It's not often I plug people, but Frimpon's well worth a follow. Funny lad.
Yeah.
Good lad.
I think Trevor's got ulterior motives behind there, because what he also said to me was I introduced Trevor to Frimpong the West Ham game the last time, because he was in front of us. And I said, "Oh," and that's where all your tattoo things went out. But he remembered you from the last game, and you were chatting to him and said to him exactly what you said. "Oh, I'd love your job, da 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 da." And then he said, "I tell you what, if anything you could make my dreams come true, I'd like to be in the Frimbagini."
I'd love to have a ride in a Frimbagini. All right, we're leaving it at that now. Moving on. You talk too much, Fergus.
He embarrassed you. He embarrassed you.
I'm not embarrassed at all. I just don't want too much. You say things to Fergus just as a mate, and before you can blink, the world knows.
Hang on a second. You said an awful lot more to me, and nothing's gone anywhere. There we go. Pressing the button. Guys, I love that bit of video. That's Sam's video clip, which is absolutely brilliant. He was on Friday night doing the preview show from lying on his bed, which was a bit weird, but it was really good.
He did all right, didn't he? He spoke really well to that, but next time he can get out of bed and get dressed because he was doing the editing.
Boys, it's been absolutely brilliant. Thank you very much. Listen, 373 of you, most of you on Hillsy's Twitter and my Twitter, a few on look at his head's exploding. A few on YouTube. We would love if the people who are on Twitter, if you'd like to go across to our Guns and Yellow Ribbons YouTube channel, click subscribe. It does help us. I think we're over £1 that we've made since we monetized. We ain't going to make a fortune, but it just helps us to do and frees up other things that we can do within YouTube because we got a certain level of audience. So we would love your support. Thank you, everybody, for your support. Enjoy your evening, and we will speak to you later in the week. Up the Arsenal.
Spurs.
Come on, you
Spurs.
Fuck the Spurs.
Thanks for listening to Guns and Yellow Ribbons, an Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. Follow us on Facebook at Guns and Yellow Ribbons or Twitter at Guns and Ribbons. And remember to rate and review us too. Up the Arsenal.